The Tea Biz podcast delivers tea news that you need to know. A recap of the week's major headlines with commentary and cultural trends hosted by Dan Bolton. It is the voice of origin for tea professionals and enthusiasts worldwide.
Tea is a fascinating and intricate topic, far more complex than anyone can master. Our expertise resides in storytelling by professionals who know the tea lands from birth and speak the native tongue. We believe that transparency is grounded at origin, which is why the Tea Biz portal enlists 40 voices skilled in 12 languages to tell the story of tea. Hello, everyone. Here are this week's headlines. Middle East unrest has heightened tea logistics concerns. Just Iced Tea raises $14 million to expand distribution nationally. And Wagh Bakri Executive Director Parag Desai, 49, dies fleeing stray dogs. Plus, Tea Biz traveled to Tanzania last week to explore the tropical Usambara tea-growing region. There I met with smallholder farmers, tea makers, traders, tea sellers, members of the Tea Board of Tanzania, and a tiny cooperative of 14 families deep in the jungle who invited me to watch as they hand-rolled and wood-fired organic black tea that always sells out on market day in the local village. I recount my adventure beginning today with Tahira Nizari, a savvy business school graduate and humanitarian who in 2018 founded Kazi Yetu, a specialty tea brand to add value that advances the role of women in Tanzania's tea industry. More in a minute, but first, this important message.
What makes a perfect cup of Ceylon tea? The perfect cup is from the tea businesses that ensure the protection of all the children living within their tea estates. We salute Kailani Valley, Talawakili, Bogawantalawa, Harana, and Eliptia tea estates. Support Save the Children, Sri Lanka.
Tea shipping and logistics executives are closely monitoring the Middle East unrest this week as sales to the regions decline. Due to the Hamas-Israeli conflict, the sales of Orthodox tea at India's Kochi auction declined to 70% of the 2 million kilos on offer. Though Israel buys negligible quantities, exports to other destinations through the Suez Canal will be hit, according to a report in the Hindu Business Line. Traders who spoke to the newspaper cautioned, quote, shipments to destinations through the Suez Canal are likely to be hit on account of the war, end quote. They anticipate further disruptions in tea procurement if the situation worsens. Iran is the center of attention. Normally a discerning trading partner with a preference for Orthodox black tea, imports to Iran spiked last year, yet, quote, at the moment, there are signs that Iran does not have enough tea to last through the winter season, end quote, writes one trader. In an attempt to stockpile supplies, imports during the past fiscal year, ending March 30th, 2023, rose to 90 million kilos. Payments complicated by economic sanctions are now past due. Quote, so far, we have no clear import support from the government. As a result, a lot of teas consigned for Iran are stuck in Dubai and Kenya, according to the trader. Compounding the self-inflicted shortage is that domestic production declined to 20 million kilos this year. Iran customs officials valued imports at $665 million through March 30th, 2023. Iran produced about 26 million kilos of tea last year, exporting 10,000 metric tons valued at $44.2 million, according to IRICA. In the fiscal year ending March 2021, The country imported 21 million kilos valued at $201 million. India, Sri Lanka, and Kenya were the top 3 suppliers. Imports recovered from the pandemic to reach 35 million kilos in 2022. Business Insight. Immediate concerns involve insurance premiums and pricing risk, but if Iran-backed Hezbollah escalates the Hamas conflict, Israel will likely retaliate against Iran. The Islamic Republic's Navy has increasingly harassed international vessels, with 20 incidents in the past few years, including the seizure of tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, which spans Oman and Iran. It's a route traveled by 30% of the world's oil and much of the world's tea. Seth Goldman this week announced $14 million in growth capital to expand the national distribution of Just Iced Tea. The organic, fair trade, ready-to-drink tea launched in 2022 following a decision by Coca-Cola to stop producing Honest Tea. Just Iced Tea's founders, Barry Nailbuff, Spike Mendelsohn, and Goldman, formulated and began distributing the tea within 4 months of the announcement. Parent company Eat the Change has since scaled back its plant-based snack business as tea sales soar. The new rounds of funding will expand the distribution of the fast-growing Just Iced Tea line and refresh the company's marketing of Cosmic Carrot Chew Sticks. In March, the company added 3 new flavors: mango white tea, lemon ginger herbal tea, and original black tea. Just Iced Tea now markets 9 varieties of unsweetened and slightly sweetened, 40 to 60 calorie teas, including lemon ginger herbal tea at 40 calories per bottle. Sweeteners include organic agave and honey with no cane sugar. Goldman and Nailbuff founded Honest Tea in 1998. Coca-Cola invested to expand distribution in 2008 and acquired the business in 2011. Goldman joined Coca-Cola to develop new beverage brands, growing Honest Tea to more than $600 million in annual sales. He left in 2019 to establish Eat the Change, which produces a line of mushroom jerky, dehydrated carrot chews, and other healthy snacks. Parag Desai, the 4th-generation executive director of Wagh Bakri Tea Group, died last week of head injuries sustained fleeing stray dogs on an evening walk near his home in Ahmedabad. He was hospitalized and underwent surgery for a brain hemorrhage after the October 15th incident and remained on a ventilator for 7 days. He died Sunday, October 22nd. Gujarat-based Wagh Bakri, founded in 1892, is one of India's best-known packaged tea brands, generating $25 million in sales from 50 million kilos of tea annually. Parag, an expert tea taster and evaluator, was responsible for sales, marketing, and exports under his father, Managing Director Rashish Desai. His cousin Paras Desai, also an executive director, is responsible for sourcing and operations. Parag greatly expanded distribution and established tea lounges and direct-to-consumer sales online. He was an industry leader, a member of the Confederation of Indian Industry, supported the blind, and was a wildlife advocate and a personal friend of mine in tea. Quote, "I have been very lucky to have learned from my elders," end quote, said Parag, who earned a master's degree at Long Island University. He credited, quote, "a very formal, strict education overseas and in India. I have had the good opportunity to merge these learnings to lead the company into the next generation," end quote. He is survived by wife Vidisha and a daughter. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I'm Bogdan, a passionate tea drinker and the inventor of the ultimate tea machine, the Brew Maker 1. Preparation is key to making fine tea. Sequential steepings deliver the best taste possible and unlock the true value of whole leaf teas and botanicals. Brew automates that process without using any pots or capsules. This simple-to-operate, smartphone-controlled device stores steeping profiles to consistently make great tea at the push of a button. Brew also reduces time, waste, and energy. That's because I engineered the brew to remember control settings for temperature, brewing time, and quantity. Using my patented process lets you stack steeps simply and conveniently.
Tea Biz traveled to Tanzania last week to explore the tropical Usambara tea growing region. There I met with smallholder farmers, tea makers, traders, tea sellers, members of the Tea Board of Tanzania, and a tiny cooperative of 14 families deep in the jungle who invited me to watch as they hand-rolled and wood-fired organic black tea that always sells out on market day in the local village. I recount my adventure beginning today with Tahira Nizari, a savvy business school graduate and humanitarian who in 2018 founded Kazi Yetu, a specialty tea brand that adds value and advances the role of women in Tanzania's tea industry. Kazi Yetu sources much of its tea from the Sakari Farmers Cooperative in the Usambara Mountains, a range in northeastern Tanzania that is about 90 kilometers long and half that wide. Usambara is one of the world's biodiversity hotspots, with a virgin rainforest that rises more than 7,500 feet, about 2,289 meters above the Indian Ocean. Teas are finished and transported to the port at Dar es Salaam, where 35 women are employed in blending, packaging, and distributing tins and canisters of specialty tea available globally. Tahira and I just completed a week-long tour of smallholder farms, the Sakari Tea Processing Factory, and the Kazi Yetu packaging facility in Dar es Salaam. Thanks for joining us today on the podcast to discuss the joy and challenges of making tea in Tanzania. Will you share with us the origin story of Kazi Yetu?
So I started Kazi Yetu 5 years ago because I wanted to start a sustainable and social-focused business. I wanted to support women in agriculture, because here in Tanzania, women are often lacking jobs across the agriculture value chains. And I thought to myself, I'm here, I understand markets around the world, and then I understand what farmers need and can do. And I thought, who better than someone like me to make these linkages and to bridge this gap? And so that's how I decided to start Kazi Yetu. Kazi Yetu in Swahili means our work. And that's really what we're about. That's why it's in our name, and we don't ever want to lose that vision about creating jobs for women. And so we started in 2018 in my dining room. We started, packing little tea bags at home. We got into my husband's car, who is my co-founder, and we drove across the country to farms. And we collected samples of teas, of spices and herbs. We met with farmers, and we came back and we started blending our own recipes. And I'm also a tea lover, so that was really exciting for me. I love product development and playing with flavor profiles and playing with different, characteristics of different types of ingredients that are made here in Tanzania and grown here. Slowly, we started to expand. We started a really small factory. It was half of a house. And then slowly we moved to a larger warehouse. And now we're in the factory that you have come to visit. And we have, 35 women employees. We have a really strong team, at the production level, but then also at the management level. And I'm really excited that we're working with over 2,500 smallholder farmers across Tanzania.
Many of our listeners have probably consumed Tanzania tea as a blend, unaware of its origin. In contrast, your teas are proudly Tanzanian, traceable, certified, and they meet EU and US import standards.
Traceability is absolutely critical. And the reason for that, it's manifold. So one is obviously we see consumers more and more seeking to know their producers and the journey of their products from farm to table. We're seeing a growing demand for that. But more importantly to us is we want to put a face and a name to our producers. And we believe that by doing that, we're actually, encouraging them to get more involved in quality. We're encouraging them to, be more connected with their consumers. We're able to connect them with their consumers. And for us, traceability is something that is evolving and is highlighting many different qualities and characteristics of the tea. So it's obviously the social side, but it's also the environmental side. So environmentally, what is the impact of the production? What was the harvest period? What are the environmental conditions under which the teas, herbs, or spices were grown? And we want to highlight that. And I think that Africa is wild. There is a lot of wild herbs and spices and indigenous crops here. And I think by highlighting traceability, we're able to embrace that wilderness and show that through different batches. So, look, I tried ginger mint fusion batch number 73, and wow, okay, so ginger mint fusion batch number 96 had more of a stronger peppermint taste. Well, and I think that's a really enjoyable experience for tea lovers.
We met with the Tea Board of Tanzania last week for a frank discussion about the challenges facing tea growers: low prices, high production costs, climate change, and a global glut of poor quality tea. I left the meeting optimistic.
So tea is actually the 5th highest strategic crop in Tanzania. It's an export-oriented crop. Of course, there's a lot of domestic consumption as well, but tea plays a very pivotal role in the economy here. There are over 30,000 farmers involved in tea here. And so you can just imagine the magnitude of the volume, the opportunity for impact and for, growth. The tea sector is regulated by the Tea Board of Tanzania. There's also the Tea Smallholder Development Agency, and then there's the Tea Association of Tanzania. And these bodies are very, very supportive of the growth of the tea sector. For Kazi Yetu, for example, they've been supporting us from day one. We were just a tiny business compared to the larger companies that are here. You have Unilever here, you have a lot of British-owned tea companies here and Indian-owned tea companies here. They immediately understood our vision for specialty tea production and promotion. And they have really been instrumental in helping us export our products, in helping us influence policies that affect us as well as our farmers. So I would say it's a very, very positive and strong infrastructure here. I think there's a lot of work to be done to empower and support farmers as well as to grow the reputation of Tanzanian tea.
The mountains here are misty and cool with a dense jungle canopy. The rootstock is healthy, well-drained, and sound. I sampled several styles of Tanzanian tea, from hand-rolled village market tea to well-crafted oolong, specialty blends, and factory CTC for export. I find the teas fresh, distinctive, and well-presented. Will you describe what makes Tanzanian tea so tasty?
That's a fantastic question. Tanzania has very different environmental conditions than, your usual tea growing countries. And so, obviously in Asia, we have more shaded, more cloudy areas of tea production. We also have, less sunshine, more dry, arid areas. Tanzania is really humid and it's really sunny. And so the clonal varieties that are, thrive here are actually a blend of different cultivars that have come here from China, from India, and have, been researched and developed to make the kind of perfect varieties that thrive in this kind of climate. And so I wouldn't say it's better or worse, but it's different, and it's an exciting different. It's an exciting distinction. And so Tanzanian tea has really beautiful color, so it brings a really nice bright color to the cup. It's great for blending. So that's what Kazi Yetu does. We blend it with herbs and spices. We also have our pure teas, of course, our Kilimanjaro green tea, our Kilimanjaro black tea. But what we love to do is get, cinnamon bark shavings from Zanzibar, the Spice Island, or, hibiscus, which is what you and I are enjoying right now, a nice hibiscus lemonade. Or, ginger is very, it's a very big crop here. It grows really well in different regions. And then you have your peppermint, your, star anise, your lemongrass, moringa. So there's lots of really beautiful ingredients to blend in with the Tanzanian teas as well.
It's been a delight to have you visit with us today. I look forward to many more conversations as a bright future unfolds for Tanzanian tea. Intrigued by what you heard in today's podcast? Would you like to learn more from our global network of Tea Biz journalists and tea experts? Remember to visit the Tea Biz website for more comprehensive coverage. That's www.t-biz.com. Thanks for listening. Farewell till next week.
Produced by Adavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.